My name is Michael Potts. I live in Canada on a sailboat, and it's winter here right now, and it gets colder every day. The boat I live on is a Scepter 36, built in Richmond, BC in 1979. 2 seasons ago, I started sailing in a 10-foot sailing dinghy and explored Lake Nipissing. Last season, I explored Lake Ontario and explored parts of the St. Lawrence River. You can check those videos out by watching some previous episodes. For those of you who have been following my journey and subscribing and liking, thank you. And for those of you who are just tuning in now and coming aboard, welcome. Over the last few months, I've winterized my sailboat and have been diligently preparing for my journey south to warmer waters. If you stick around to the end of this video, I have a treat for you guys. You and I will sail together digitally from here in Canada all the way to Grenada. We're going to talk a little bit about distances, times, and basic passage planning. But let's get you caught up on what's been happening since I uploaded my last episode. Welcome to another episode of SVEV. And I'm just getting up here and I'm looking out the window and oh no, it looks like the water has finally frozen around the boat. All right, let's see how bad the situation is here. All right, oh yeah, Jesus. Yeah, it's frozen. So I guess it's time to put the bubbler on here. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna throw the bubbler on and see, well, it's not so bad on this side, because I guess the sun was melting it early this morning. But let's plug her in and see what happens here. All right, I'll try to do it one-handedly. Bear with me. Ready? Look at that. Awesome. That'll clear the ice away. Look at that. Beautiful. It's funny, I've been feeding these ducks here. Oh. Whoa. It's okay, guys. Look at all these ducks, eh? Look at all the ducks. Come here, buddies. It's okay. There you go. There's 2 swans over there. It's okay, buddies. Look at that, they're getting caught in the ice there. You see that? At the end of last season, I had some engine troubles right at the end of the summer of 2020. But I've had some looking around and I'm confident I just need a new set of injectors on my Yanmar 2QM20 diesel engine. Managed to do an oil change. I changed the impeller. I drained all the water out of the engine in an attempt to avoid water freezing in the engine block and causing problems. My dad, who was a merchant marine and engineer on crude oil tankers, has been advising me on exactly what I should be doing. I'm very thankful for that, and there still is a ton of work to be done in preparation of my journey south, and I will be showing you progress in future episodes. But what does it take to get this boat south? How long will it take? What route will I go? Sailing a boat from Toronto, Canada, down to the Caribbean is a big task. I thought it would be really fun to take a look at some charts and some maps and just kind of get a ballpark idea of what is involved with doing that passage. So let's get into that right now. All right, guys, as promised, we are going to do some digital sailing tonight. All you armchair sailors out there, grab a beverage of your choice, settle in, because we are going to do some sailing tonight. We are going to sail from Canada to the Caribbean, okay? And particularly Toronto to Grenada. Grenada is, for me, the end-all be-all of the places that I want to go. It's going to happen next season, and I just want to give you guys an idea of what it takes in terms of nautical miles, distances, that sort of thing. So let's get into it. All right, so there's actually 3 options. You could go through the Great Lakes here, head on down to Chicago, head through the center of the states, go to the Gulf of Mexico, on through the Caribbean to Grenada, but we're not going to explore that option just because I'm not interested in that. I want to do the 2 options we're going to explore this evening are option A, which is up from Canada here, across to Oswego, down through the New York Canal systems to New York City, across to Bermuda, down to, at one point in the Caribbean here, roughly ballpark, through the windward beautiful islands of the Caribbean, all the way to Grenada. Okay, option B, which is, for me, I think is the most realistic option, is going up through the St. Lawrence River, around the Point of Gaspé, over to Nova Scotia, and doing a huge passage to Bermuda, you know, reprovisioning, get everything ready, and down to the Caribbean. Maybe in this area here, and along the windward islands of the Caribbean, down to Grenada. So what would it take to do that? I mean, you know, it's a huge deal. It's a huge undertaking. So let's get into that now. Let's see. Option A and B. All right, guys. So we'll do option A first, which is going down through Oswego. Ready? So Google Earth has a nautical miles counter, and we can get an idea of times and passages. I'm here right now. We're going to go across to Oswego, 100 nautical miles. And this, again, guys, this is ballpark. Down to New York. Across to Bermuda. Down to the Caribbean. And along the Windward Islands. Oh, it would just be a beautiful, amazing trip. So, okay, so option A gives us a rough mileage of 2842.51. We're going to round that up to 3,000 nautical miles because there's all sorts of turns and bends that we'd have to go through. And we're just ballparking here, guys. Let's just look at our options. All right. So option A is about 3,000 nautical miles. If we go through New York State, down to New York, the capital of New York, Manhattan, across to Bermuda, down through the Caribbean, onto Grenada. Let's look at option B, which to me is the most appealing option because it allows me to stay within, you know, within Canada. And if you look at some of my previous videos, you'll see that I already went up the St. Lawrence, and I'm absolutely in love with this area here. It's just somewhere I could spend unlimited time up here indefinitely if the water wouldn't freeze. Just like tonight on EV, it's a frozen winter night here. I'm trapped by ice on Lake Ontario here, and I'm dreaming of sailing to the Caribbean. And we're going to go for a journey right now digitally together up the St. Lawrence. So let's zoom in. I'm roughly here. We would be going across Lake Ontario, up to Kingston roughly, up to Gananoque, where I would love to spend some time up there. I mean, you guys really got to check the videos out that I did there. Oh, just a beautiful place that, you know, needs to be explored. But again, we're ballparking. So let's get an idea. What would it take for us to sail up the river here? What would it take for us to go all the way, you know, all the way up here around the Point of Gaspé, down through Port Hawkesbury, roughly around this point, over to Nova Scotia, like Dartmouth, reprovisioning, getting everything ready for a huge passage to Bermuda, and then on to the Caribbean. Now, guys, I've spent so much time doing this sort of calculation, just dreaming about sailing the world. You know, that's what it's about. If you get yourself a sailboat, you understand that the world is your oyster. You can go anywhere here, and I plan to do that. And I'm going to bring you with me through these videos. That's why we're doing this right now. So, okay, so option B, we went from Bermuda down to the Windward Islands of the Caribbean. We're just going to get a rough idea of how long it would take to get there. All right, so option B, 3709. So it's basically 4,000 nautical miles. We're rounding off here, guys. We're getting an idea of, you know, what it would actually take to do this. All right, so let's start new again. All right, guys, so option A was 3,000 nautical miles. We went through the New York canal systems down to New York State and Manhattan Island. We went across to Bermuda. We did a crazy passage all the way over to the Windward Islands of the Caribbean. We went down to Grenada. And roughly, we're looking at 3,000 nautical miles. Okay, so for option B, which is most likely what I'm going to be doing in the next 6 months, and please like and subscribe, follow this channel, because this is what I'm going to be doing. This is the option that I like best, because I really like the St. Lawrence River here. Going up through the St. Lawrence, around the Point of Gaspé, down to Port Hawkesbury, across to Nova Scotia, Dartmouth, reprovisioning, get everything ready, and over to Bermuda, which is a place I used to live. I used to live here when I was a kid. All right, I know this island really well, and it would mean a huge amount to me to return to this place. It's something that I just need to do. When you get your own sailboat and she's in the water and she's all ready to go, you start thinking about these things like, where am I going to go in the world? What would it take to sail around the world? And this is why I love doing these exercises, All right, so option B, went down to Bermuda, across to the Windward Islands of the Caribbean, down to Grenada, and we had a rough nautical mile distance of 4,000 kilometers. All right, so let's go ahead and just see what, ballpark again, guys. What would it take to do that? So if we were to do 3,000 nautical miles for option A, which is going through New York State, we're going to divide that by 5. 5 being 5 nautical miles. This will give us an idea of how many hours of sailing we would need to do to complete this distance. 600. All right, and we're also going to divide that by 12, which will give us a rough estimate of how many days at 5 nautical miles per hour, at 12-hour days, it would take us to get to Grenada from Toronto, which is roughly 50 days of sailing. Now, a lot of you will comment in the comment section below, there's no way you can do 5 nautical miles an hour and cover 12-hour days at that distance. I realize that, but we're just ballparking, getting an idea of what it takes to get to these destinations. Okay, so option A is looking at 50 days, and we'll just double that because you're stopping for weather, you're waiting for weather windows. There's complications with, provisioning and mechanical things that stop you along the way. We're going to say 100 days. So literally, yeah, guys, 3 months it might take to get from here through New York State to Bermuda and down to Grenada. It may take 3 months. All right, let's look at option B now, 4,000 nautical miles. And let's do some math. Go into calculator here. All right, so 4,000 nautical miles divided by 5, which is our average speed at a 12-hour day, leads us to 800. Wow. 800 hours, folks, of sailing up through Quebec, around the Point of Gaspé, over to Nova Scotia, down through Bermuda, and down to the Caribbean. 800 hours of sailing at 5 nautical miles per hour. So roughly, if we were to take the boat and do 5 nautical miles per hour, which is basically impossible. And divide that by 12, we'll get an idea of how many days we would do. 666. I hate that number, but okay, let's say 70 days. Basically 70 days. All right, so option A was 50 days. Option B is 70 days. All right, and let's double that. So 140 days. It could take a long time. So it's a huge undertaking, just to give you guys an idea of what you're dealing with if you're sailing these beautiful destinations, really enjoying yourself, going through reprovisioning, visiting the cities, going ashore, exploring all these beautiful places along the way. That will give you a rough idea of what it takes to sail from Toronto to Grenada via option A, which is through New York, option B, which is around through the Nova Scotia route to Bermuda and beyond. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know about you, but I'm going to do it in the next 6 months. You know, subscribe, like to this channel, because this is going to happen for me. I am definitely addicted to sailing and just exploring and taking this boat from here down to the Caribbean. It's been a life mission for me, and I would love to be able to do that. Look at this beautiful earth. Look at that, eh? Look at that. Imagine sailing beyond here, going around the world. Look how much ocean there is there. Australia, New Zealand, the Philippines, India, Madagascar. Oh, look at that. It is possible, folks. And I hope you now have an idea of what it would take. So please like and subscribe. And remember that it is possible.